Thank you, Madam Speaker. Look, it's good to be back, though if I could suggest everyone stops asking me how my holiday was. I had a long list of farm work to do and barely touched most of that list. But it wasn't just me. I'd like to show some appreciation to the MPI staff who also had to do a lot of work over the summer holidays. Not only was there still the work required to manage the bird flu incursion, but also we had a fruit fly show up, thankfully only one, and also MPI welfare staff were also busy over the summer break as well. So appreciations to all their hard work. Now, some of you during the summer may have experienced a bit of average summer weather, and rather than be disappointed, you should be ecstatic, because rain in summer means grass growth. Grass growth means more production on farm, which means more jobs, more economic return for this country. And, you know, this may come as a shock to a few people on the other side of the House who, going by yesterday's speeches, seem to believe that economic growth gets driven by nanny state. Well, driven into the ground, maybe. Last year was a good year for New Zealand farmers. The war on farming ended, a number of actions that were taken that made farmers' lives much easier, which my colleague, Mark Cameron, already commented on earlier, so I won't go down there. But this year, there's a lot more work to do. We've got a lot more on the agenda that's going to drive farmer confidence even more. Because as I've spoken about before, confidence is key. And without confidence, you don't feel like investing in your business, you're not driving production and productivity, you're not creating jobs, you're not creating wealth for this country. So the actions we take this year are going to be vital for driving and improving not only farmer confidence, but business confidence. Top among the list of things that we need to be focused on is, of course, RMA reform. And my colleague Simon will undoubtedly talk about that very soon. But I just want to share an example of how broken our system is. Now, to get to Fielding, recently I've had to travel through some roadworks that just sort of started. And I've noticed that they're not doing a lot of work there every day. A lot of road cones out, but not much happening. Now, why is there not much happening? Well, it's because they can't access enough gravel to do the work, to build the road. Why can't they access the gravel? Well, because the council won't reissue itself a consent to allow for gravel extraction to occur from riverbanks. Instead, these contractors must now try and bring in gravel from further away, higher emissions, higher costs, slows everything down. This is the challenge of our RM system, where we just can't say yes to things, we can only say no. And a council can't even say yes to itself, it says no to itself. Now, of course, we can get gravel, the contractor, by digging up holes in productive paddocks and extracting the gravel from there. This makes no sense. Rather than, destroying a productive piece of land, and instead of removing what is, in effect, a flood risk on our riverbanks. So that's just a perfect example of how broken our system is and why it needs to be fixed. It's not just about replacing the broken things this year. There's also, I'm really looking forward to getting into work on biodiversity credits. They are a tool that has been talked about. Farmers are keen on it. We have a nation of farmers compared to anywhere else in the world that have done more for biodiversity on their farms without little or any subsidies whatsoever compared to other nations. Yes, other nations' farmers are doing biodiversity work, but they're subsidised to the hilt to do it. Ours do it out of love and passion, and I want to be able to this year work on being able to provide some rewards to them for doing that. Finally, I just want to touch on food safety. It's one of the portfolios I've got. And, last year I heard anecdotally from a number of food businesses, regulation, red tapes, costs that were being imposed on them. We saw in the Business New Zealand report that talked about that, and also just talking to bigger businesses about the challenges they've got. So this year, one of my big mission over the next few months is to get out there, talk to small and large food businesses, really get an understanding, get into the detail of what regulations are needed, what aren't, and make sure that we have a system that is not duplicative, that makes it easy for businesses to get food to all their customers around the world, but also maintain our world-leading food safety standards. This year is a key year for our government. We need to be driving that growth forward, and the key thing here is reducing red tape. We need to put a slasher through it, and that's what I hope to do in my portfolio areas. Thank you.